What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Movie out in theaters, not just a video game from Sega. For those that remember the video game system Sega Genesis, they made a movie, Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, everybody knows, everybody heard of the controversy maybe a year ago, less than a year ago, where they put out a trailer and the character design for Sonic the Hedgehog looked horrible. And then they pulled it and they went back and they fixed it. Something that it's kind of weird. Like there's Sonic the Hedgehog and then there's the movie Cats that both came out Cats not that long ago. And only one of the two kind of did anything to fix the ridiculousness of the character design. I mean, the thing with Cats was far worse. There's nothing that the real CG department really could have done with Cats. Like, it shouldn't have even been a CG movie. Should have just been live action. Hire some good dancers. Hire some good artists to put on a good movie. This one, it's just one of the characters, obviously Sonic, who's a blue little hedgehog kind of guy who runs around and collects rings. That's kind of the game. There's kind of different types of, like he can roll up into a ball and there's like special abilities. Overall, like I wasn't really looking forward to this movie. It wasn't like high up on my list this time of year. It's mostly dog shit that comes out to theaters anyway. So I went and saw a double feature. I went and saw this and saw Fantasy Island, and just low bar. I just wanted to see how the character design turned out, and Jim Carrey's in it. I love Jim Carrey, even though it is a kids movie. So it's I'm not just the bar is so low. I could accidentally walk over it and not even notice. I probably wouldn't even trip on the bar that it's so low, even if I was shuffling my feet. And I liked it. I thought it was fun. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's not anything that there's no part of it where I'm impressed or overly excited to share any aspect of this movie. But for a kids movie based on a video game like Sonic the Hedgehog, I thought it was fun. It had like the extra cheese that you get with kids movies. Some characters a little bit more cheese than other characters. But overall, I had a good time. I grew up, my connection to Sonic, I had the Game Gear, which was the competitor to the Game Boy. But the Game Gear, the advantage is it had a backlit screen, right? And color, versus Game Boy at the time was just black and white. And there was no light. So if you had to play the Game Boy at night, you had to get a light on. Or you could buy, like, they had attachments for Game Boys that would, like, there was a magnifying glass that would go over the screen to make it look bigger. There was like speakers that would fold out to give you better sound, and then there was like a little reading light thing that would turn on so you could actually see the screen. But the Game Gear was full color, was like a little mini TV, little CRT TV in there, and that was the one I went at. I like saved money. I like did research. I'm like, the Sega Game Gear is far superior to the Game Boy. Obviously, Sega as a gaming system no longer exists, but I think their games, they still have some properties as far as games wise. So other than that, that was kind of the only, and that was childhood. It's not like I've grown up with Sonic the Hedgehog as being my dude, my character that I grew up giving a shit about. I mean, there's a lot of child things that I loved during childhood that I've just kind of grown out of, even though we all live in a culture where it's very trendy, very common for grown adults to have never grown out of their childhood joys, right? You see this everywhere. You see adults flocking to Disneyland like it's Mecca, right? So they're gonna get that dose of nostalgia because life is so kind of pointless and ridiculous and horrible right now. Not horrible, but we're like in a weird kind of thing with culture, and it's just it bothers me how obsessed adults are with childhood things. It's upsetting. It is upsetting. And I'm sure there's a level of that for the Sonic franchise. I am no part of that at all, but I did enjoy playing the game. It was probably the first game I got. That was kind of like the Super Mario Brothers for Sega Genesis. Um, and the movie was fine. Jim Carrey plays the bad guy in this. He's almost like a toned down like version of Jim Carrey. Like if you were to take Jim Carrey from the, Dumb and Dumber, or Jim Carrey from even better Ace Ventura. It's more like Ace Ventura Jim Carrey, but toned down. Like if you were to age Ace Ventura Jim Carrey, you were to age him like 20 years, like however long it's been since Ace Ventura. It's probably been more than 20 years. Then you get the more toned down kind of like just wacky enough to know you're still watching a kid's movie, and that he's the bad guy. Um, but yeah, so the whole story is like these rings, which I don't even know how much of like the basic plot is taken from any kind of storyline from the game, but like his rings are portals that are to like different universes, different like parallel realities, but also you could just like travel within your universe. It's like whatever you are thinking of when you throw this ring out, it creates a portal to that thing. So very like convenient kind of technology to kind of transfer. And it's all like he's trapped on the like it starts off Sonic is like in this one world, whereas like this owl is his like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I think they even reference Star that specifically in the movie. And it's like some shit happens and he's got to run away, so he takes his bag of rings, and the owl like, you got to get out of here, throws the ring, and he goes from whatever reality that was, and he ends up in the real world with real people. And that's how this crazy character is in this live action movie, right? And it's him basically just living there, existing on his own, and he has the rings, and if anything ever happens, he would have to go to another universe, another reality. um and then all of a sudden shit happens, obviously, and it's all like he doesn't want to leave. He loves his small town that he lives in, and the next place that he would have to go, which is like you could think of anywhere to go, but the only one that ever shows up is this mushroom world, which is a world from the video game, right? And he's like, "Oh, it's horrible. It's just mushrooms. I hate mushrooms. I don't want to go to that world." But he doesn't think of any other world. That's the only world that he can potentially, that and like San Francisco are the only two places he could think of in his mind before throwing a ring to turn into a portal. Um, but yeah, it was. Other than that, it was fine. It's like you don't. Anytime you think too much, especially in a kids movie, anytime you're using too much brain power in a kids movie, you've already messed up. You've already done it wrong. You're not seeing the movie right. You made a mistake. So I didn't. I turned my brain down and I just sat there and I enjoyed it. There was a lot of product placement in this movie, which I found to be kind of interesting, like blatant product placement. Uh, Zillow is like a big one. Like apparently you can use Zillow to rent apartments or something now, and then that's like a feature that they were promoting in this movie. And then also the biggest product placement is Olive Garden. Like not only is the catchphrase for Olive Garden part of like the dialogue in this movie, but the very end of this movie, when the government is apologizing for all the hell that they put people through for hiring Dr. Robotnik to take on this kind of whatever, like the government gives the character a $50 gift card to Olive Garden. Like just that whole scene is just everything about it is ridiculous. Um and it's, I don't know, it's it's like the most blatant product placement I've ever seen in a movie. At least two things. And it seemed like there was one more thing, but I blocked it out. Maybe it was like the shoes or something that Sonic gets. Um, but overall, I thought it was a fun kids movie. I thought as far as comic or as video game movies, video games being turned into movies, I thought it was a fun adaptation. Um, but I mean, it's not breaking, it's not transcending past just a fun kids movie. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog out in theaters. Go check it out. Wouldn't be a horrible time. I'm sure kids love it. But go check it out in theaters or on streaming whenever it hits streaming in like a week, I'm sure. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.